The Buddhist Peace Fellowship has been around for a few decades. It's been around since the 70s, and what we focus on is an intersection and sort of a Venn diagram merging of social justice and Buddhism. So we take Buddhist values and look at different aspects of social justice and kind of turn them into a Venn diagram way of existing and really embodying that together. I look at socially engaged Buddhism, and personally I feel a stronger sense of embodying it, not just in an engagement, but being able to really live that practice. Right. We're also incorporating values of multiculturalism and multi-generational perspectives in the organization from throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and because of the causes and conditions and the crises that have been outlined really thoroughly for us this morning, we also feel a sense of the balance between the urgency of the moment, the very real oppressions and harms that are a part of our society, and needing to act with urgency to address those, while also taking a very long view. Because as our experience in some social justice movements have taught us, sometimes the sense of urgency gets us so caught up in being very righteous or being very sort of loud or angry or all of the time. And so we're trying to really blend the compassionate action of Buddhism with this urgency in order to develop wise action from a younger generation, especially, and from the perspectives of those who have experienced marginalization and oppression. So to give you a sense of what we're up to, I'll just play a little bit about our national gathering from last year.
I am really excited to be here. I am currently sitting at East Bay Meditation Center at BPF's 2014 gathering. It's a miracle. We made this happen. We have people from all around the world that are here talking about and participating and engaging and networking and communicating and like opening up our hearts and minds and digging deep into challenging moments over socially engaged Buddhism, and it's pretty phenomenal.
The last couple shots that you saw there with the drumming were actually from a direct action that came out at the end of the national gathering, and we're going to be able to show you a little bit about that action. When I say direct action, do folks kind of know what I mean? Do people know what a direct action is? Sure, okay, happy to. So when we talk about direct action, and that's one of the things that we're training in this year's nonviolent direct action with Buddhist Peace Fellowship, we are talking about actions that are people-powered and that can use forms of disruption or of what we call compassionate confrontation in order to make a change. So it's a little bit different than lobbying or something like that, or education. It's actually using our bodies in some way to be able to interrupt some injustice. So for instance, for this action, it had to do with an organization called Urban Shield. No, it has to do with this one. There you go. So Urban Shield was a police weapons expo and militarization SWAT training that happened in Oakland, California every year. And we decided to join a coalition of other groups, some of which were faith-based, to try to evict Urban Shield from Oakland, because we felt that the militarization of police was a direct threat, especially to Black lives, but to all lives in our society. And so what we did was we ended up blockading the doorway to the hotel that hosted Urban Shield in Oakland. So these are a number of meditators that were there, just very peacefully but powerfully taking up space. And the police were very unhappy about it. They were called. It kind of created a scene. We had some flyers and literature to be able to hand out to people on the street. And actually, as a result of the work that we and others did around Urban Shield, they were successfully evicted from Oakland, and they will not be hosted there anymore. So it's nice to win sometimes. Other types of direct action that we do have to do with environmental work as well. This is an action we did, again, with a coalition that's trying to end fracking in California, fracking being hydraulic fracturing, a process of taking oil and natural gas out of the ground that causes earthquakes and all kinds of other terrible things. And so they invited us to have a sort of fleet of meditators to be a part of this action, which actually blocked some doorways of an administrative building and a street in downtown San Francisco. And so this is an ongoing campaign effort in California to achieve a ban similar to the one that they enacted in New York to be able to ban fracking statewide. But just the image of people meditating at an action is one that we find people find really unusual and pretty moving. And it's a way of actually not only symbolically intervening to be able to pray or meditate at an action, but to physically use our bodies to take up space and interrupt the normal flow of the status quo.
And one thing that we sort of create as a value within Buddhist Peace Fellowship is taking the practice beyond the cushion. So this is literally taking it into the cushion, taking it out into the streets, and bringing the cushion into the streets.
Exactly. The last action I can show you has to do with an urban farm near where we're from, Northern California. So this is a historic urban farm that's really precious green space in the middle of a very urbanized area. And the keepers of the farm who want to prevent it from being paved over and turned into a strip mall invited us to come in and hold a sunrise meditation in order to try to ward off some of the authorities who like to come in and rip up the plants that they're planting on the farm. So it was a really lovely sort of small delegation that we were able to send to this event, but it's so meaningful to us to be able to use just our own power as normal everyday people to be able to interrupt this cycle of privatizing the commons, of paving over green spaces, of pushing people farther and farther to the outskirts of cities and making, especially urban centers in the Bay Area where we live, into kind of a playground for the rich and destroying natural ecosystems in the process.
And something else I wanted to add about being able to sit in an action is a part of the practice is being attentive to what's uncomfortable. And when you're sitting there blocking a door or sitting there protecting some flowers or protecting some tomato plants or the different things, it's being able to be it's a different way of experiencing the interdependence and the interbeing in all of us. So that's also another value that we're working with. It's sort of like different takeaways that we want to be able to share, how this is an extension of not only an extension of practice beyond the cushion, but an extension of how being uncomfortable and also compassionate conflict, being able to approach conflict compassionately is a part of our practice as well.
Exactly. So at Buddhist Peace Fellowship, our aim in 2015 is to train 5 cities in nonviolent direct action in this style. And so we have those cities all lined up, and the first training is coming to a close in the Bay Area. It's been really amazing. But we also are really excited to invite all of you to participate in a couple of actions today if you would like to.
And some of you already started by involving yourselves in our portrait projects, where we have a few different options to choose from, different phrases. The karma of fill in the blank, and one said the karma of slavery is heavy. May all beings be free from racism and oppression. I vow to work to end them. And then the third, may all beings enjoy housing as a human right, for an example. There's others that we have that you can fill out to add your own personal touch to it, or make a stand with someone else's phrases that you agree with.
And again, this is totally voluntary and not a part of the official conference.
And then what do we do with it?
Oh, well, I've been noticing people taking video and pictures, so we're happy to give those to the official bucket of visuals that are coming out of today, and people can use them as you wish. It's just our honor to be able to facilitate it.
And we're compiling them to really acknowledge and see where people are coming from with these statements.
We also have 3 hand-painted banners that we are able to offer after a visit to the White House, outside of the White House, to be able to take some group photos, again, if people are interested in that. So come see us if you want to participate. We would love to meet you and collaborate in this way.
Where is that going to be?
It'll depend where we exit the White House, but we have them with us.
But you can find us.
In our bag.
In particular, if this moves you, if this challenges you, if there's something that is coming up for you, or just even you have a question, please come to us. This is a big part of how our heart beats. And so we're really, really thankful to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.